All right, welcome back to Off the Bench with Tom Brennaman, presented by UDF, our friends at United Dairy Farmers. We are taping this segment today. That we're taping it is Tuesday, and you're watching it right now on Wednesday, because our next guest, a regular and friend of the program, has a big day on Wednesday, introducing all of the groups that are going to be playing in the Pro-Am at the Kroger Classic out at Kenwood Country Club. So, Marty Brennaman, congratulations. What an honor that is. Is anybody helping you with name pronunciations, all that kind of thing? Because, you know, whether it be people you don't know in the business community here in town, or whether it's some of the players out there that maybe you're not familiar with, or are you ready to go on that front?
Well, I'm going to be ready to go by the time the ball goes here at 12:30 tomorrow, or today as we talk on this program. We have an extensive opportunity to check the names out. So many young women that play in this event, as you well know, are Asian women, and so a lot of them nailed down, and I hope to be able to do that by 12:30 tomorrow. Otherwise, today I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm trying to pattern myself off the guy who does the British Open every year. I mean, this guy has developed a career unto itself by doing every major event that comes out of the British Isles. He sounds very dignified, and people have accused me of being dignified in my life, that I feel like it will simply be what he does over at St. Andrews or Turnberry or one of the they play in Scotland. So I'm going to be on top of my game.
Are those your dogs barking in the background?
That would be a singular dog, Tom. That would be Dog. And that would be Millie, who runs this household.
Okay. Does Millie like when you go on shows like this, or when you're getting interviewed on different things, wants to get a little extra attention by barking while it's going on?
Well, she wants attention bubbing her while I'm doing the program, whether it be with you or with somebody else. And now I'm upstairs to check to see who just walked by the house, because anytime there's movement, she's at the front door. She is the ultimate guard dog of any guard dogs I've, no matter what make or model they might be. She's as good as it gets.
And she weighs you're one of those guys that has one of those little dogs. I mean, I remember my wife and I were in Chicago one day back when you and I were both still doing the Reds games, and we're sitting at some
You're
little corner.
You're going to bring this up now, aren't you?
Well, I am, because, this happened. It's not like it didn't happen, and a lot of other people saw you. So, but we were sitting there at like some little corner bakery thing, having a cup of coffee and a bagel or whatever, and all of a sudden, I see you from like a block down the street pushing a baby stroller. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe
Correct.
He's got a friend in town who maybe Marty's in town, good old Uncle Marty, and babysitting a little bit and, pushing the baby around, get a little fresh air. And then lo and behold, the
Correct.
closer you got, and actually you were pushing around one of your dogs.
I was not pushing around one of my dogs. We only have one dog. That's one. We have one dog. That's Millie, that Amanda went out to California to get one year in spring training, and she runs the house. And we had this baby carriage, and somebody said to me, "You're not serious, are you?" And I think it might have been our good friend Jim Day.
Yeah.
You're not take that dog carriage and roll it down Michigan Avenue. I said, I have every intention in the world of doing that. He said, you're going to open yourself up to a lot of heat. I said, well, I learned a long time ago that if you're going to got to be able to take it. So we have a picture of me strolling her down Michigan Avenue and flexed unbelievably unconscionable looks that people were giving.
Yeah, well,
I handle it.
I know you did.
Yeah,
I was one of them,
dogs.
and I was still in shock when I saw it. Even now, I'm somewhat traumatized by that whole thing.
I'm sure you are.
You are a big football fan. Now, at the Brennaman household, are you and Amanda dialed into college football like all day this past Saturday where UC's playing in the afternoon? And Ohio State is playing later that night. North Carolina, your alma mater, had a wild game a few days ago against App State. Are you watching a lot of that stuff?
I did my butt from 12 noon until the Ohio State game ended. I watched all three of them in their entirety. I really get up for football on Saturday, college football. In fact, I like college football, but I don't like ball. I'm a Bengals fan, but after that, and then Washington, I still Redskins. I know people properly, politically correct. It's Commanders. All weekends for me. And so, yeah, the schedule worked well with Carolina kicking off at noon, and then UC at 3:30, and then the Ohio Notre Dame 7:30. So I was in hog heaven.
This Sunday, will you be dialed into the Bengals game with rooting interest?
Big time. Yes. Yeah. No question about it. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I'm a big Zach Taylor fan. It took me a long time to make that admission because I didn't think Zach Taylor could coach his way out of a wet paper bag. But he made a believer out of me last year, so I'm now a fan. I'm a fan of Joe Mixon. I'm a fan of Sam Hubbard. I'm a fan of those young receivers that Joe Burrow has to throw at every Sunday or whenever they play. So you're going to be glued to the TV and watch it from kickoff until end. Correct.
Okay. I only bring this up because there was a time when you had one of your moments where you sort of went off the rails a little bit on Mike Brown. And
a moment.
Okay, well, a number of moments. And you went off the rails on him a little bit. And then, for those who don't know the story, please fill them in on what happened subsequently when we had a chance to go down there and actually break bread, you and me, with Mike and Katie Blackburn.
Yeah. Well, he and I had never met before. We'd both been in Cincinnati forever. Mike, obviously, longer than I'd been. At the same time, this is a big, small town. So you got to figure at that time, it was like 38, 39, 40 years, you're going to run into accidentally. But we never had. So I was asked to MC an event at Purcell Marion High School in which Roger Staubach was coming into town from his home in Texas. He was a graduate of Marion. He was going to address the student body in the gym about miniature rubberized footballs and sign autographs. Would I do it? I said yes. Over there, and just moments before the event started, somebody said Mike Brown's going to show up today. And there were other people said, oh, he really doesn't come to events like this. And so lo and behold, just moment the thing started, Mike walked in with young Paul. And so note of that. But the event began. Now it ends. Now Staubach is throwing these foot to the kids. And I'm standing on the periphery of this whole thing. And all of a sudden, I sensed somebody next to me. And I turned around. It was Mike Brown. And he stuck his hand out. He said, hey, I want to introduce myself. I'm Mike Brown. I shook his hand. I said, I know who you are. And he meant to me that, that there was very few, if anybody, in town over the years of the media more openly critical of him as the owner of the Bengals than I was. And I said, I'm well aware. And he said, we need to get to know each other. So fast forward, we had that luncheon that day. And as you said, it was you and me and Mike and his daughter and her son, Troy. And told by Paul Doherty before the luncheon, he said, now, let me prepare you for something. You spend time with him in a social situation. You have a hard time differentiating between Mike Brown, the owner, and Mike Brown, the person. And he said, because really a likable guy. And he was right. Very difficult for me after that luncheon to be publicly critical of the way he ran the team because I thought he was a damn nice guy. He told great stories about his dad. I thought it was a very nice luncheon. His daughter, on the other hand, would just as soon as her arm off than be in the same room with me, because she held me accountable so about some of the negative things I'd said about her dad over the years, and I did them on the radio. Of course, of a Reds game, something would come up. I'd say, oh, here we go again, you know. And I had a lunch with him the following year, and I don't know what. All of a sudden, they disappeared, these luncheons with Mike Brown, and I so look forward to him. Because I thought the guy was an interesting guy to talk to. All of a sudden, I became persona non grata and never heard from him again. And I don't think I said anything to that. I don't think I pissed him off later after the luncheon that he had with me, because all of a sudden I got to know Mike Brown personally a little bit and really liked him.
Yeah, but you know, you can, though. I think you'll be the first to admit, though, you can find a way to piss some people off.
Well, Katie was really pissed off. Katie did not like being with me at all. I mean, in fact, the hair stood up on the back of my neck when I was sitting across from me with somebody that if she could legitimately get away with murdering me, she would have. Obviously, she couldn't. Troy, being a Duke guy, was a little bit more tempered in his outward appearance toward me, but it was still a reminiscence. It was a memorable day because of the fact that I got to know him, albeit, and very sadly, became very short-lived, because after the second luncheon, he said, to hell with this, I'm not having lunch with him anymore. It's the way it went.
Well, we'll see if we can't make something happen and put that together again. But the first thing we got to do is get you some cord for this this dial-up service you have in your house if you're going to be on every week. I mean, Tracy Jones
Big
called
deal
it.
To talk about it. I don't have a dial-up service in my house.
Well,
are you kidding me?
It might not be that good as a dial-up service, truth be told, right? All right. Dad, thanks for the time. Great having you with us. We'll check back with you next week.
Already?
I mean, that's it. You know, we have two Hall of Famers on the show today. We have you, and after we take this commercial break, we have Anthony Munoz.
Well, I couldn't precede a human being on the face of God's earth than Anthony Munoz. So I feel like I'm honored, and you be sure and tell him that nobody is a bigger fan of him. I'm not so sure about this damn cord you want to get me, and now it's going to pray to try and figure out what this is all about. I have no idea.
Nobody praying more than I do. I can promise you.
Tell all the boys I said hello.
I will. We all say hey, and good luck at the golf tournament, and have fun over the weekend.
I'll let you know.
All right. Marty Brennaman, the Hall of Famer, kind enough to join us as he does each and every week. I'm telling you, that is got to be – I'm not even sure it's a dial-up service. You know, he all that money he's made all these years, and to think that we can't get a better connection than that. And that base – believe me, where he's doing this show down in his basement – his wife, Amanda, redid that thing for him a couple of years ago. That thing is as sweet a setup as you have ever seen in your life. If there is such a thing as the ultimate man cave to just go watch a sporting event, that room he has in his basement, the whole floor, not a room, the whole floor is decked out top to bottom. He didn't know she was doing it. There's got to be, I'm not exaggerating, there's got to be 300 or 400 pictures of everybody, my dad with Pete Rose, to Harry Carey, to Vin Scully, to his family, to Julius Erving, who, I mean, it's insane. Anyway, we thank him for joining us.